Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Right, 开始. Hello everyone, my name is Quentin 老师 and I'm here to talk to you about our reading course. We have a new reading course starting online and I'm here to give you some information about this reading course. Very often, students ask me, what is the best way to improve my English? And I always say to them, the best way you can improve your English is to read. And you should try to read as much as you can. Reading has been shown to be the most beneficial way to increase your English. There are many benefits of reading. Let's talk about the benefits of extensive reading. Extensive reading we also call ER. Okay, ER, extensive reading. And extensive reading means reading a long text for a long time. So, for example, reading a book or reading a long article online, but it has to be extensive and it has to be quite long. Okay, this is what we call extensive reading, and there are many, many benefits for extensive reading. The first benefit is that extensive reading will improve your reading proficiency. This will make you a much better reader. Like anything in life, if you want to be good at something, you need to practice. So the more reading you do, the better your reading will become. It will help you to increase your reading rate. And your reading rate means the reading speed and the amount of information that you can understand. So the more you read, the more you will increase your reading rate. It will also help you to increase the accuracy of your comprehension. This means that the more you read, the more you will be able to understand what you are reading. It will also increase your motivation to learn. As you are reading new information and as your English level slowly improves through reading, you will also find that you become more motivated to learn English and more motivated to reach a higher level. Reading has also been shown to improve your overall language proficiency, including your grammar and your vocabulary. And your speaking and listening will also improve by reading, and also your writing. So these are some of the many benefits of ER, of extensive reading. And this is all backed up by very good research and contemporary research, that these are all the known benefits of extensive reading. So reading is very, very good for you, but there are a number of key reading skills which are very necessary in order to understand when you are doing extensive reading. And on this reading course, I'm going to teach you these key reading skills. So let's first have a quick look at what are these key reading skills. The first one is skimming for gist. Skimming for gist means reading something very, very, very quickly just to understand the general meaning and not focusing on any details, just the general meaning. And this is a skill which is very important. For example, if you are going to take IELTS or if you are going to take TOEFL, skimming for gist is a key reading skill, especially in the IELTS test. Another key skill is getting the main idea. What is the main idea of the article and the main idea of a paragraph? Another key reading skill is understanding paragraph organization. The way we organize paragraphs in English is quite specific, and there are a number of rules. And one of the things that I will be teaching you is how to understand the way a paragraph is organized. And when you understand how a paragraph is organized, this will help you to read much faster and more accurately. Another key skill is getting specific details from your reading and reading for details, for the meaning, getting the specific meaning from the passage. Another key reading skill is what we call scanning for facts, and this is also a key skill in IELTS and also TOEFL. And this means running your eye through the text very quickly to isolate specific information, usually facts, numbers, names, or other kind of information like this. Another key reading skill which I will be teaching you on the course is how to deal with difficult vocabulary. One of the problems of extensive reading is the difficulty of some of the vocabulary, but I will be teaching you how to deal with this problem. Understanding complex sentences. Sometimes, especially when you are reading something which is very high level, where the language is very advanced, sometimes the syntax of the sentence or the grammar of the sentence might be a little bit tricky or a little bit complicated. So understanding complex sentences is another key skill that I will be teaching you on this course. Also, how to understand the text organization. If you are reading a longer text, for example, from The Economist or from The Conversation Online, one of those websites, sometimes these texts are quite long, and I will also be teaching you how to understand the way long texts are organized. And then finally, a key reading skill is inferring the attitude of the writer. What is the writer's attitude? And you need to be very careful, for example, about irony. For example, irony, right? Is the writer being ironic? Or what is the writer's attitude? Okay, so these are some of the key reading skills that you will learn if you attend the writing course. And I really hope that you will join me for this reading course. This reading course. Reading is a very, very important skill, and the more you read, the better your English will become. So I hope you will join us. Hello and welcome to our reading course. This is lesson 1, chapter 1, and we are going to begin by doing one long reading in this class. I'd like to begin by just talking about the outline. What are we going to learn in this lesson? First, we're going to talk about some of the difficulties of reading, especially what we call ER. ER means extensive reading. Extensive reading means reading a long passage. Most of the reading that you do in your life is probably quite short. If you're reading Facebook, or you're reading Instagram, or you're reading other social messages in English, a lot of these texts are really quite short. But what I want to do is to encourage you to read long texts, or even whole books. And the longer the text is, or the longer the book is, the more beneficial this will be for your reading. And we call this type of long reading extensive reading, or ER. And in this class, we're going to first of all talk about the difficulties of extensive reading, because there are some difficulties that you need to be aware of. Then we're going to talk about the benefits of reading. There are many benefits that you will gain from extensive reading, so we're going to talk a little bit about those. And you're going to read a text about the benefits of reading, and this text will introduce you to some of the latest research into the benefits of reading. Then I'm going to give you an introduction to the various different reading skills that we are going to learn in the rest of the course, in the next few classes, and then we're going to do some practice of these different reading skills. Okay, so that's our program for this lesson. So let's talk about first the difficulties of extensive reading. The first difficulty is, of course, boredom, because you might think, oh, this text is very boring, or it's very long. You might start it and feel very interested, and then as it goes on, you might begin to feel, oh, it's a little bit too difficult, or it's a little bit too boring. So boredom is one of the chief difficulties of extensive reading, and this means that you need to choose your text carefully. Read something that you are interested in. Read something that you enjoy reading. And this will help with the problem of boredom. Another problem associated with boredom might be length. It could be a very long article or a very long book. The topic might not be suitable for you. So those are the two of the difficulties associated with boredom. Another difficulty that you might have is difficulty with the language, including the grammar and the vocabulary that you are reading, and cultural references. Cultural references also are a very difficult part of extensive reading. This is when the writer refers to something in the culture, in British culture or American culture. And if you don't understand the cultural reference, this might make it very difficult for you. Another difficulty of extensive reading is comprehension, understanding what you are reading. And here we have to focus on the organization of your paragraph and the organization of the text. And we also need to understand the attitude of the writer. What is the writer's attitude to what they are writing, especially if the writer is sometimes using irony. And very often writers use irony, and this can be quite difficult for foreign learners of English. This can be quite difficult for foreign learners to understand or to realize that the writer is being ironic. Okay, so these are some of the difficulties of extensive reading, and I hope that during the next few classes we will help you to deal with some of these difficulties. All right, we're going to actually do some reading now, and we're going to read this article called "The Benefits of Extensive Reading." We've talked about the difficulties. Let's have a look at some of the benefits. So I'm going to give you some time to read this article. It's quite long. Okay, it's one page long, so you might want to take 5 minutes to read the article. So pause the recording now and read article task 1. Okay, we've read the article, and I just want to summarize what the article said about the benefits of reading. One of the things the article talks about is the many benefits that you can gain from extensive reading. So let's go through and talk about these benefits and see whether you understood any of these benefits. Okay, so the first benefit is proficiency. Proficiency means your reading ability. Your reading ability will improve the more you practice. Like anything in life, if you want to improve at something, whatever it is, you need to practice. And the more you practice, the better you will become. So the more you read, the better your reading will become. So according to the article, reading extensively will help you to improve your reading ability in general. Another benefit is an increased reading rate. As you read long texts, you will find yourself reading faster and understanding more. And this is, of course, a very good thing. You will also find that you will increase your accuracy of comprehension. That means that you will understand more of what you are reading. You will also find that it will increase your motivation to learn. As you become independent and you are reading more and longer text, you will find that your motivation to keep reading and to keep learning English will increase. So extensive reading is a very good way to keep your motivation for learning English, is to keep your motivation up there. Yeah. And another benefit is increased overall language proficiency, and they have discovered, the researchers have discovered, that people who read more have very highly developed language skills, including knowledge and use of grammar, knowledge and use of vocabulary, and knowledge and use of speaking and listening. This will help your speaking and listening. Not only does your reading improve, but research also shows that your speaking and listening improves. And of course, so does your writing. So these are some of the benefits of extensive reading mentioned in the article. All right, we're going to move on now, and we're going to have a look at some of the key reading skills, which I'm going to introduce to you in more detail in the next lessons of the class. But in this class today, I just want to focus on an overview and give you a kind of overview of some of these key reading skills that you will be doing in the classes, okay, that we will be learning together. So you might want to take some time now to have a look at task 2, okay? And if you look at task 2, you will see some of the key reading skills. So let me just go through and have a look at the key reading skills. The first key reading skill is skimming for gist. And skimming for gist, we will do more work on this in the next lesson. Skimming for gist means your ability to just read the article very, very quickly and understand the general meaning. Not any of the details, you ignore the details and you just focus on the general meaning. And we call this skimming for gist. If you are taking the IELTS test in the future, this will be a very important skill for your IELTS test. Another key reading skill is getting the main idea. What is the main idea of the sentence? What is the main idea of the paragraph? And what is the main idea of the text? Another key reading skill that I will introduce to you is understanding paragraph organization, how we organize information in paragraphs. And the way we organize information in paragraphs in English is quite specific, and there are some rules. And if you know what these rules are, and if you understand how a paragraph is organized in English, this will help you with your reading speed and your reading comprehension. Another key skill is getting specific details. And number 5, another key reading skill is reading for details and getting the meaning, right? Getting the meaning from difficult sentences, difficult passages. Another key reading skill is scanning for facts. And this is also a very important skill if you are going to take the IELTS test or the TOEFL test. Scanning for facts means looking through the text very, very quickly for specific information. Facts, usually, for example, numbers, names, or things like this, right? So you're just looking very quickly and trying to isolate these different facts, to find these different facts. Another key reading skill is dealing with difficult vocabulary. Of course, if you are doing extensive reading, if you are reading a book, there will be some words that you don't know, that you don't understand, and I'm going to help you to deal with this problem. Understanding complex sentences. Sometimes when we are reading, we might find that there is a very difficult or complex sentence. The grammar is a bit strange, or the syntax might be a little bit old-fashioned, a little bit complex, and it might be difficult for you to understand. So I'm going to teach you how to deal with complex, long, complex sentences. Okay, number 9 is understanding a text organization, the way a text is organized. This will help you with your comprehension. And then finally, number 10, inferring attitude. What is the writer's attitude to what they are writing? Okay, so these are the key reading skills that I will be teaching you in classes in the future. But for now, we are going to try these key reading skills in Task 2. Okay, now Task 2 is quite long, so I suggest you take at least 10 minutes, and then we'll go through the answers. So pause now and do Task 2. Okay, let's go through the answers together for Task 2. Okay, so Task 2, we're going to begin with Question 1 and Question 2. Question 1 and Question 2 are both skimming for gist questions, skimming for gist and getting the main idea. So the answer to A, what is the main idea of the article and how do you know? The answer is A is the benefits of reading. And how do you know? You can see that if you look at the title and the first paragraph. But basically, the title gives you the main idea of the text. Okay, number B, the answer for number 2 is B. What is the main idea of paragraph 4? The main idea of paragraph 4 is that reading helps general language proficiency. And if you look at that in paragraph 4, you can see some of the research there that learners increased competence in both listening and speaking abilities. Writing proficiency is also impacted. Okay, and if you look at the first sentence, students who read extensively also make gains. Make gains means improve in overall language proficiency. So there is the answer there in paragraph 4. All right, now paragraph 3, task 3, asks you to understand paragraph organization, and this is something we are going to learn more about in future classes. But what you need to do here is to put these sentences in the correct order. And you can see the order here. I hope it's big enough. Let me read it for you. The first one is how reading more helps readers to read better in the new language. So this is the topic sentence for paragraph 3. Then we have a number of different improvements. Reading comprehension improves. Readers learn reading strategies, and these are the reading strategies that we are learning now. And readers are able to read faster, so your reading speed will also improve. Okay, then the next idea in the paragraph is this. Research shows that reading speed is connected to comprehension. Now this is very interesting because this proves that the faster you read, the more you will understand. Fast readers understand more than slow readers. So it's all a question of practice, isn't it? Okay, so those are the answers to questions 1 and 2, skimming for gist, and number 3, understanding paragraph organization. Let's move on and let's have a look at 4 and 5. 4 and 5 is about getting specific details and meaning. So, A, in paragraph 1, what have the studies demonstrated? And the answer is the effectiveness of ER. How effective ER, extensive reading, is for your English. Okay. B, in paragraph 2, what does the literature in scholarly journals say? The literature says that it increases in other aspects of L2 learning. So the more you read, the more your other aspects of learning language will improve. For example, your grammar, your vocabulary, your speaking, and your listening, and your writing. All of these things will also improve according to the research. Okay, number C. What is the result in paragraph 5? What is the result of seeing the same words again and again? Well, the result here is vocabulary learning, right? And if you see the same words repeated again and again in sentences, eventually you will find that you know these words without really learning them, but just through constant exposure, by constantly seeing these new words in sentences, you will begin to remember them, and this is a very, very good benefit. Okay, let's have a look at number 6. And number 6, the key reading skill here is scanning for facts. And this is a very typical reading skill, especially in IELTS and TOEFL. And you need to complete the table here with some facts. And here are the different facts. So Ellie, in 1991, these are the different researchers and the years of their publication. Chow and Krashen in 1994. Ellie and Mangubai in 1981. And Janopoulos in 1986. Now you can see that this research is already quite old, so what I am teaching you here today, this is nothing new. This research about the benefits of extensive reading, this research has been around for a very long time. We have known for many years, many decades, we have known how beneficial reading is for your English. Okay, let's move on and let's have a look at task 7. Task 7 is dealing with difficult vocabulary. Okay, and you have 3 questions and you have to choose a word which most likely has the same meaning. So we can quickly go through the answers here together. So number 1, the answer is B. Not quite following the correct rules. Number 2, the answer is A, a lot of. And number 3, the answer is C, gains. Make gains means improvement. And we will be learning how to deal with difficult vocabulary in the next few classes. Okay, let's move on to number 8. The key reading skill here in number 8 is understanding complex sentences. And you will see in number 1 here, number 8.1, that there is a very complex sentence, a very complicated grammar, and you need to choose the best meaning, and the best meaning is A, right? Students who read get 3 benefits. Okay? All right, now the next one is understanding text organization. And this is a little bit tricky here. So here you had to put the headings in the correct order according to the information in the whole article. And the correct answer here is B. B is the correct ordering of the sequence of ideas in the article. And then finally, we have number 10. And number 10 is inferring attitude. And this is another key skill that I will be teaching you in the next classes as we go forward. We will learn more about how to infer attitude. Okay, and the answer here to this one, number 10, is B. The author is not surprised about the results of the studies because the author wrote as we might expect. And as we might expect means there are no surprises here. Okay? So that's the end of our first class. This has just been an introduction to some of the research about the benefits of extensive reading and an introduction to some of the reading skills that I'm going to teach you in the next few classes. Okay? Now before we finish, I'm going to give you some homework, and my homework to you is to read. Find something that you can read. There is all kinds of information available online. You can read the Guardian newspaper, the Conversation website has some very good articles. It's called The Conversation, so you might want to Google that and see if you can find. Or you can find a book, like a thriller or a detective story, Agatha Christie, for example, one of these kind of writers, and start reading. The sooner you start reading, the quicker your English will improve. All right then, thank you very much, and see you next time.